The screen fades to black. A single voice cuts through the silence, low and steady, filled with longing. Time bends for no one, it whispers. Yet some loves defy the very order of the world. A faint light breaks across a rugged highland landscape, mist curling over the hills. In the distance, two silhouettes appear, walking slowly toward one another. The sound of wind carries a single promise across the air. No matter the cost, no matter the years, love endures. The story begins with echoes of memory. Claire stands alone, gazing at the horizon, her eyes shadowed with both sorrow and strength. She whispers Jamie's name as if it were both a prayer and a memory she refuses to let slip away. The land around her feels alive, a silent witness to all she has endured. The grass bends under the wind, and the mountains stand tall, unchanged, reminding her of everything she has lost and everything she has fought to hold on to. Suddenly, the sound of hooves breaks the stillness. A figure rides across the moor, his presence unmistakable, his form powerful against the rolling sky. It is Jamie, returning once again to the place where their story first began. His face is older now, carved with years of battle and sacrifice, but the fire in his eyes remains the same. As he draws closer, their eyes lock, and in that single moment, the world seems to pause. Time folds upon itself, past and present colliding with a force neither of them can resist. Claire takes a step forward, her breath catching as her heart races. The ache of years apart crashes into her like a wave, but with it comes the undeniable truth that nothing, not war nor fate, can sever the bond they share. Jamie dismounts, his boots sinking into the earth, and the silence between them is louder than any words could ever be. He reaches for her hand, hesitant yet sure, and she lets her fingers slide into his, trembling with both fear and hope. The years fall away in that touch, and for a fleeting instant, it is as if they have never been apart. Their love has endured across centuries, through battles, heartbreak, and endless loss. Now standing together once more, they know this chapter will demand even more from them. The land may be torn by conflict, the times unforgiving, but together they are stronger than destiny itself. The camera closes in on their hands intertwined, and the narrator's voice whispers again. Love is not bound by time. Love is the only truth that endures. The quiet of their reunion does not last. Shadows begin to move across the land, whispers of unrest spreading like smoke carried by the wind. War is stirring in the colonies, and the sound of muskets and marching boots echo in the distance like a warning. Jamie feels it in his bones before he even hears the first drumbeat of soldiers. The world he has fought so hard to protect is once again pulling him into the heart of danger. His eyes grow hard with resolve, but deep within them lies a quiet fear. Not fear for himself, but fear of losing Claire to the cruel hand of fate once more. Claire senses it too. She knows the signs of conflict, the shifting air that comes before battle. Her mind, always sharp and filled with the knowledge of both past and future, races with visions she cannot control. She sees blood spilled on fields, families torn apart, men who march toward death without knowing their fate. She sees Jamie among them, his back straight, his sword raised, his spirit unbroken yet tested beyond measure. Her heart aches with the truth that no matter how much she tries, she cannot change history without risking everything. A new threat begins to emerge, shrouded in secrecy. A figure cloaked in shadow watching from afar, a presence both mysterious and menacing. This enemy does not fight only with steel, but with whispers, betrayal, and the cunning art of striking where hearts are weakest. As the silhouette fades into the night, the tension grows heavy, and the air itself feels dangerous. The bond between Jamie and Claire is their strength, but it is also their greatest vulnerability. Every glance, every touch, every promise between them is a weapon in the eyes of those who seek to tear them apart. For enemies know that to strike at one is to wound them both. The landscape shifts once more. Flames rise in the distance, the smell of smoke carried on the wind. Jamie tightens his grip on his sword, while Claire steadies herself with a calm resolve that hides her trembling. The narrator's voice cuts through the chaos, steady and haunting. History is never kind, and neither are those who write it. In the silence that follows the roar of war, The world narrows down to two souls bound together. Jamie and Claire stand in the quiet of their home, the faint glow of candlelight casting shadows across their faces. Outside, the air hums with unrest. But here, in this fragile moment, it is only the beating of their hearts that matters. Claire reaches for Jamie, her hands trembling not from fear but from the weight of love that has carried them across centuries. She whispers his name, soft, almost like a plea, and he turns to her with eyes that carry both fire and sorrow. There are no grand speeches between them. No need for words to explain what their souls already know. Every glance is a memory, every touch a promise. Claire remembers the countless times she has feared losing him. On battlefields soaked in blood, in prisons of stone, in the cold grasp of time itself. Yet every time, Jamie has found her, as if the universe itself bends to the will of their love. Jamie takes her hand and presses it to his chest, where his heart beats strong and steady. He tells her without speaking that as long as this heart beats, it belongs only to her. His gaze lingers on her face, memorizing every line, every detail, as though he fears this may be the last time he sees her like this. She smiles through the ache in her chest, because she knows that love as powerful as theirs cannot be erased by fear. In the corner of the room, the fire burns low, its crackle a reminder that even in the darkest nights, warmth can be found. Claire leans into Jamie, her forehead resting against his, and for a moment the world outside ceases to exist. The war, the enemies, the looming shadows, they all fade into silence. All that remains is the truth between them. Love that endures, love that cannot be undone. But beneath the stillness, there is tension, an invisible thread pulling tighter with every second. They know this peace will not last. They know that tomorrow could take everything from them. And still, they choose to hold one another, to claim this moment as theirs. For even when the world is cruel, love becomes the only refuge, the only light, the only reason to keep fighting. The narrator's voice echoes faintly as the camera lingers on their embrace. Through every battle, through every heartbreak, only love endures. The world erupts in motion. The rhythm of drums shakes the ground. The clash of steel splits the silence, and fire spills into the night sky like a furious storm. Faces blur through the chaos, soldiers charging, torches blazing, families fleeing through smoke. The screen flickers from one moment to the next, each image sharper than the last, each heartbeat louder than thunder. Jamie stands at the front of it all, his blade drawn, his jaw set with the weight of a man who has faced death too many times. The camera catches the firelight in his eyes, a reflection of the wars he has fought both with enemies and within himself. He moves like a storm, fierce and unyielding. Yet every strike is not for glory, but for the ones he loves. Claire appears in flashes. Her hands tremble as she ties bandages, her face streaked with sweat and tears, her voice steady as she whispers words of comfort to the wounded. Yet beneath her calm lies the anguish of a woman who knows that every life saved may be balanced by another lost. She glances toward the battlefield, searching through smoke and shadow for Jamie, the one anchor that keeps her from breaking. The montage quickens. Flames consume wooden homes, muskets fire into the night, children cry as mothers clutch them close. A storm lashes against the Highlands, rain falling like shards of glass as thunder splits the sky. Jamie rides through it, his figure blurred by rain, his determination as relentless as the storm itself. A single scream pierces the chaos, Claire's voice, raw with desperation. The camera cuts to her reaching out, her face twisted with fear. In another flash, Jamie roars as he raises his sword, a cry that echoes like thunder across the field. Their voices overlap, one filled with love, the other with fury, both carrying the same truth. They will not surrender to fate. As the music swells, the images begin to blur together. A kiss stolen in the dark, hands gripping tightly through firelight, tears falling silently on a battlefield. The camera lingers on their faces, weary but unbroken, before cutting to black in an instant of silence. The narrator's voice returns, hushed but powerful. Their love has conquered time. But can it conquer destiny? The fire has burned low, the screams of battle fading into echoes carried away by the wind. What remains is silence, but it is not the silence of peace. It is the silence that comes when destiny stands at the door, waiting to be answered. The camera lingers on Jamie as he walks across a blood-stained field, his sword lowered, his face grim, every step heavy with the weight of choices yet to come. The mist swirls around him, clinging to his form as though the earth itself knows what he must face. Claire appears behind him, her dress torn, her hands still stained from tending the wounded. Her eyes find him through the haze, and for a moment the world shrinks to just the two of them again. She calls his name softly, not as a healer, not as a fighter, but as a woman who has loved him across centuries. He turns, and in his gaze is the truth neither of them can escape. The time they have borrowed may soon run out. A voice echoes, deep and foreboding, not from any one person but from the weight of history itself. Every choice leads to sacrifice. Every path demands its price. The words hang in the air as visions flicker across the screen. Jamie standing before an army far greater than his own. Claire clutching a child to her chest as flames close in. The two of them separated by mist once again, reaching but never touching. The world feels as though it is closing in, testing them in ways it never has before. Their enemies are not only men with weapons, but time itself, fate itself, the unyielding current of history that cannot be rewritten without consequence. Jamie clenches his fist, his jaw tightening, his resolve burning even as fear coils deep within him. Claire holds his hand, her voice steady, her strength rising even through her tears. The storm is not over. It is only changing shape. The final battle will not just be fought with steel, but with the courage to hold on to love when the world demands its surrender. As the camera rises above the battlefield, showing the vastness of what lies ahead, the narrator whispers once more, "Their love has conquered time, but time is not finished with them yet." The air trembles with urgency. The camera flickers through fragments of lives unraveling. Soldiers falling into mud, fire sweeping across the sky, families scattering in fear. A heartbeat pounds beneath the sound, each thud louder, faster, pulling the viewer into the chaos. Jamie rides through smoke, his face cut with grit and blood, his voice lost in the roar of battle. His figure blurs, then vanishes into the storm, leaving only the echo of his cry. Claire's hands are frantic, binding wounds, pulling men back from the edge of death. Her voice is calm, but her eyes betray her, searching, always searching, for the one soul she cannot lose. The world spins around her in panic, but all she sees is the space where Jamie should be. The screen flashes, her hand reaching into smoke, his silhouette lost in the haze. The montage accelerates. A musket fires, a sword shatters, a child screams. Then suddenly, silence. The screen holds on Claire's face, pale in the moonlight, her breath caught, her eyes wide with dread. A single whisper escapes her lips. Jamie. The name hangs in the air like a prayer unanswered. The next moment erupts again. Jamie is shown on his knees, surrounded by shadows, his strength failing. His chest heaves, his eyes lifting toward the heavens as though asking if this is the price he must pay. Then a flash of light, Claire running to him, her voice breaking as she calls out through the storm. They reach for each other, their hands so close the air between them seems to burn. Yet the world pulls them apart again, dragging them into darkness. The screen fractures into quick cuts, tears on Claire's cheeks, Jamie's roar of defiance, a cross burning against the night, the endless march of soldiers beneath a blood-red sky. Each image hits like a strike of thunder, relentless, unmerciful. And then, as if the earth itself demands silence, the sound cuts away once more. Only a heartbeat remains, slow, heavy, echoing into the void. The narrator speaks in a whisper. Their love stands on the edge. One choice will save them. One choice will end them. The storm fades, but the silence that follows is heavier than thunder. The screen shows the Highland mist, rolling endlessly across the land, swallowing everything in its path. From within it, Two figures emerge. Jamie and Claire, walking toward each other, their faces lit by the faint glow of dawn. They reach for one another, their hands trembling, their eyes filled with the weight of everything they have endured. For a heartbeat, it seems as if fate has relented, as if love has won. But the ground shifts beneath them. A crack splits the silence, and the mist swallows Jamie's figure whole. Claire's scream tears through the stillness as she reaches forward, her hand grasping only empty air. The screen cuts to black in an instant, her voice echoing as if lost in time itself. Then a single image fades into view, their hands almost touching, separated by a thin veil of mist, suspended in a space that feels both eternal and fragile. The sound of a heartbeat pulses beneath it, slow, steady, refusing to stop. The narrator's voice returns, softer than before, yet carrying the weight of destiny. Their love has conquered time, but now time demands its price. The screen flashes white, and bold letters appear. Outlander, Season 8. The final chapter begins. As the music swells into a haunting note, a whisper breaks through. Claire's voice, faint but unshaken. "Always, Jamie." The sound fades into silence, leaving only the echo of those words as the screen goes black.